All right, welcome to session 3A of the Google Making a Funnel work program, Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Just a short recap. Session 1A, we talked about the customer journey mapping. Already a few iterations, we talked about the measurement plan and the analytics implementation. That are the two things we're going to talk about also today. Then going on with your daily business, running ads, creating content, generating leads, etc., etc. Setting up an optimization framework by optimizing reporting and automating if something works, and adjusting your customer journey map for further customer experience optimization. We also talked about KPIs, where to focus on, conversion rate optimization and marketing stack. And concerning conversion rate optimization, a lot of the things you will be measuring and you will be watching at, we will talk about today, how to measure those conversions. Also, we talked about content marketing, to create what content for which persona or target group at which stage of their customer journey, and how to measure that, how to engage with them. Also, that we will talk about today, how to measure that. And last Wednesday, we talked about GDPR. That's important to collect opt-in data only, with a timestamp, a channel, and a reason for the opt-in. And the reason is a product or request for information, etc., etc. Limit the data collection. The Californian Consumer Privacy Act. If you just follow the GDPR and make sure you are compliant with it, in most cases you will be fine. Copyright, negotiate whenever you can, or you're in a position to do negotiations. Protect your brand and designs by registering trademarks, especially if you go global with the Madrid Treaty for international copyright. So, up to Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Of course, most of you are really entrepreneurs, so digital marketing is just an area of your day-to-day operations. But if you would be an online marketer or a digital campaign manager, etc., you would be, well, getting your data and doing your work for about 40 to 60% of your time in Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. And Google Tag Manager is actually where the magic happens. But we're starting with Google Analytics. I've decided to, the first half about Google Analytics, we're going to talk about, hey, what you can do with it. And the second half, we're going to talk about how to set it up in Google Analytics. And just the table of content, examples of analysis and reporting you can do with Google Analytics, main dimensions in Google Analytics, UGN tracking, event tracking, campaign analysis, content analysis, lead scoring, offline media tracking, also omni-channel marketing, UX reporting, error spotting, and then we're going to setting up Google Analytics measurement plan, GDPR, the importance of filters, goal tracking, cross-domain tracking, segmenting, and implementing enhanced e-commerce. Most of you won't be using enhanced e-commerce because you don't have a web shop, but it's interesting to look at it anyway because of the metrics involved. Well, just a few basic examples of what you can do with Google Analytics analysis. For example, you can look at your most effective traffic sources, quite important. Effective, I mean with the highest conversion rates, most responsive content, what content resonates, people stay long on the pages, or they share your article or your calculator or whatever your digital content is. Conversion rates per device, especially if you're doing a lot of content distribution through social media, you will see that a lot of your traffic will be from smartphones, while your SEO traffic will be in B2B will be more from desktop computers. So you will see that the conversion rates quite differ per device. Countries, regions, and cities your visitors are from, what step in your funnel people drop off, what percentage of users on a landing page actually see your form, assuming that they're on a smartphone and your form is all the way down on your page. Well, you can talk about, hey, my conversion rate is only 2% of all the people who visit all the sessions on that web page. But another question is, hey, how many of those people who didn't bounce actually saw your form? Just a matter to think about, like if say 15 or 20 or 25% of the people who saw your form filled it in, well, that's quite good actually. How do people interact with your website or app? The end goal for you by using your Google Analytics, of course, is the example of the one-time or periodically analysis of the above mentioned, but also running your daily day-to-day business. You will set it up mostly with once your entire Google Analytics is configured, managing every phase of your customer journey. Phases: acquisition, lead generation, re-engagement, what they do in your app or on your website once they have created an account, and how you move them from the trial phase to a paying customer, and how they use your product, assuming it's digital product, how they use your product once they signed on and they are paying customers. So it's important for your customer success. Conversions, we talk about it more. Of course, content you want to manage on a day-to-day, or watch actually on a day-to-day basis, and all your traffic sources. Main dimensions. Dimension is something that Google Analytics actually can measure. I have here in the presentation, you only see, for example, what is a user dimension. Then you have a session. For example, a user can return several times a week. Then you have, for example, in this case, 3 sessions from one user, and during each session he or she can do several interactions, and that is at the hit level. It's called the hit level. User level, session level, hit level. Hit is, for example, an event, so click on a button, or 1, 2, or 3 page views, a transaction, etc. I just mentioned in the presentation the most important metrics. In the documentation, there is also a link to this URL. And here you can see actually everything that Google Analytics measures. Just to dimensions for the dimension user type, that's a returning or new user. Count of sessions, last day since session, user defined, well, user bucket. That's when you're using Google Optimize. Hey, did they see test A, version A, or version B of my landing page? Then metrics that are just custom or ready for you to use in Google Analytics. Metrics are calculated from dimensions. Probably you understood that, but I mentioned it anyway. New users, new percentage, new sessions, 1-day active users, 30-day active users. Of course, this is important for managing your customer journey. Like, hey, how many of the users that I acquired 28 days ago are still active today, etc. So it says something about your how recent they came to your website. I also will look into sessions and then some other metrics or dimensions Sessions is in the dimension sphere quite flat, but there are a lot of things calculated from bounces, bounce rate, duration, hits per session, page views, clicks, etc. Well, if you have defined one or more goals, what is automatically tracked per goal, completion location, previous steps, value, conversion rates, etc., abandoned rate. Also, we're going to look at event tracking. Well, dimensions are standard, category, action, and label. So with every link click you will ever measure or anything else, a category, an action, and a label will be defined. And you can also put a value, like if somebody clicks on download the PDF, it creates a value of, say, $25 just to put a value on it, because you also did investments to get your visitors there. Well, and you have to look for yourself what anything, what all the dimensions and metrics are. And also you can define your own dimensions. We will get into that later. So back to the presentation. UTM tracking. UTM stands for Universal Tracking, and then something else. It's actually a term of a company Google bought a long time ago, I believe 15 or 18 years ago. It's used, UTM tracking is used for tracking traffic sources. And in the example, you see imaginary URL of website.com. And you see how a trackable link is built up with a UTM source, UTM medium, UTM campaign, UTM term, and the UTM content. Below is explained what you use the UTM codes for. So a campaign is custom made or by you. For example, you can do a Christmas campaign or a launch campaign, or if you run a full page ad in the New York Times with a URL on it, like mywebsite.com and IT from New York Times, then you can refer that URL to your final page, and then it will track, hey, New York Times ad. Medium, you can put it in yourself, but it's also nicely predefined. And mostly it's used like a metadata, like email, PPC, organic, banner, native. But of course, the channel medium or channel email can have several sources, like your own newsletter, but also an automation sequence. But also, if you buy from a list, it's you want to track a click on that bought ad in somebody else's newsletter. The medium you want to track is email. So email can have different sources, but the medium is all email. So it's more channel-like UTM tag. Then the source, that's really where it's from. So actually mostly the brand name or the channel where it's coming from, say Google Ads or Facebook Ads, LinkedIn, organic, LinkedIn paid, but can be also if you made a deal with a publisher or a partner of you, or maybe your investor puts a link to your website, and you want to track, hey, how many people come from my investor. You can give them a URL with a UTM tag, and that's how you can track, hey, how many visits do I get from that page, and what actually do they do on my website once they've clicked to my website. And term is only used actually for paid search campaigns. a lot of tools you're going to use in the future, or maybe already using, offer standardized UTM tagging. For example, the most easy to mention, of course, is Google Ads. You can turn it off, but if you don't turn it off, Google automatically puts all kinds of UTM tags in their campaigns that you're running on their platform, and you see those UTM tags, of course, in your Google Analytics. For example, the UTM campaign is actually your campaign name in Google Ads. Source is always PPC, and also you can look up in your Google Analytics like ads group or ad type or content keyword, etc. And also other platforms do that. If you publish ads on Facebook and want to track it nicely, you have to put UTM codes in your URL, because else your tracking of Facebook ads won't be as nice as your Google ads. And why do you want to track it nicely? Because after running 1, 2, or 3 years of campaigns continuously or incidental, you want to have a review. Hey, how is this channel or that traffic source developing? Like, was it only a high conversion rate with Christmas, or was the high conversion rate all year long, etc., etc. That's why you need all this information. So again, UTM tracking is for measuring traffic sources with all kinds of dimensions: campaign, medium, source, content, and term. Event tracking, this is used for tracking on-site events. So once the visitor has come on your website from any traffic source, you can mention clicks, scrolls, downloads, and downloads, of course, is also a click, but something else happens. Form errors you can measure with event tracking. Form interactions, form completions, of course. Video views, mostly 25, 50, 75, and 100% of the views or of the time of the video. Mouse movements, logins, like somebody logged in on your client area on your website. You can track which error messages are shown to the user. That's quite important to discover false exit points. If you have a WordPress website, I would seriously consider, I mean, it's one of the most expensive plugins I know, Monster Insights. I believe it's for a single website, $200 per year. But depending on what you calculate your hourly internally, your hourly rate is actually quite cheap, because you will be doing a lot of tracking, especially if you have a digital product. Another free alternative is Duracell Tomy. It's created by Thomas Geiger. But just a little less sophisticated. Campaign analysis. You will be running one-time campaigns like a Christmas campaign, recurring campaigns, or continuous campaigns. For example, running Google search ads on your prime keywords. That will be running all the time, unless your budget is gone. But so that is a campaign. It can be anything from a multi-million cross-media campaign to promoting just one content item. It's in the for the sake of definitions, it's all the same. If you analyze a campaign, of course, you want to look at traffic source, conversion rate, bounce rate, and other engagement KPIs like time on site, click-through rate to other items on your website, downloads of a white paper, etc. What device they're from, region, like if you're targeting on a US only region, or for a state like California, but you're getting traffic from all over the country, hey, you want to look into that. Of course, the landing page you're using, and compare it to periods before, during, and after. So content analysis, you want to take a good look. For example, if you put a few hours in a new blog post, a few hours, that's an understatement. It's more like with all the iterations and looking for nice images and doing your research, let's say 1 day, and you put a nice article of say 2,500 words, ask your friends and family and your old colleagues to share it on LinkedIn. You want to see where does the traffic come from? What does it do with the SEO rankings? What for the keywords you optimized the article for? How many deep links did you create to the article? How is it responding with new versus returning visitors? And of course, the quality of the article, and I don't mean the editorial quality, but the quality for your business goals, bounce rate, click-through rate. And click-through rate, I mean to other parts of your website, or your call to actions in the article. Social shares, how many people clicked on the share button. Time on site, like 2,500 deep words, deep article about implementing Google Analytics with all kinds of how-to information. Well, you need about between 10 and 20 minutes to really soak up the information at least. Scroll depth, how much did people see actually of the article? And of course, the conversion rate. And conversion rate is not only sales, but also sign up to a newsletter or any other call to action. Lead scoring. Lead scoring is a way to give points or value to certain behavior to a user in your Google, in your analytics configuration, but it can also be in your CRM. We also talk about lead scoring more in depth when we're going to talk about the CRM, etc. When is it more important? With longer customer journeys, longer periods, I mean with that, B2B. And if you want specific content actions responsiveness. For example, download something or yeah, or you want to show a pop-up to visitors who have visit your website for the last month for 3 times and viewed your pricing page, etc. Then you want to show a pop-up with a chat box. Hey, would you like to talk to a sales representative? So depending on the value doesn't have to be a monetary number. It can also be a point system. What you want, or if you have already collected some data like a phone number, and hey, this is a value lead, and they're really they're looking at their long time or several visits to your comparison, like your product to your competitor product. Hey, then you want to really want to have an outbound call to the person who's visiting your website or the company. If you don't know who the person is, like, hey, maybe we can help you with finding out what you need to know. Well, setting up Google Analytics, or the goals in Google Analytics, you can give every goal, for example, a newsletter sign up, but also, of course, a sale, but also a trial. Can you give a monetary value, or you can set up a custom dimension? So create a dimension for yourself, for example, called lead points or lead value. You have to map out the value of each action. configure it, configure triggers based on points. The last step is what I said with pop-ups, outgoing email, retarget, add them to a retargeting list, etc. Important is that you can, with a longer customer journey, mostly is that in B2B cases or more expensive B2C products or services, you want to give your outbound human touch attention to your most valuable leads. And how do you define value? Lead scoring is a good model for it, and it works actually. And you can configure those points with Google Analytics. If you're running offline marketing campaigns, and that can be from a direct mail, so physical mail post, to placing an ad in the magazine, to anything what is offline, you can integrate it with Google Analytics. Excuse me. The most used version of it is an XURL with a UTM tracking. So how does it work? You have a website, say website.com, and you're running an ad like the earlier example in the New York Times. Then of course you're not gonna show people, you're running also an audio campaign, but it's for the sake of the example. You don't want to show a long URL, you want to show a short URL. You can call only your website, like go to website.com to learn more about this, or you can show them an XURL, like go to website.com/NYT of New York Times. And of course, you always have to do also publish a banner on your homepage, but a lot of people will go straight to the action URL just because it's convenient to them. Or if you have put the action URL behind an UTM tag, for example, or QR code, apology. And that URL redirects to your landing page. And of course, it can be the same. So, I will show you later. Store visits. Yeah, you can set it up with Google Ads. It's not a Google Analytics only product, but you can actually measure with the help of a mathematical probability model of Google Ads how many people you showed your ad to went to your store. You can create a feedback loop, for example, from your CRM or Google Sheets or whatever system you use, import the data into your Google Analytics. So, you know, like for you did a traffic deal with an affiliate channel, and you get a huge load of sales from that channel. So you're in the first instance, you're really happy with that new channel. But after 1 week, a lot of returns come set in, about 80%. And you think, whoa. And you can put the feedback loop into Google, import the feedback loop into Google Analytics, and it will show you the real value, ROI, or return on ad spend, ROAS, of the channel. So, and also you can import other data like cost per channel data. So you can see, hey, there was the cost of the traffic, and this were the revenue or the lead value what I created from this channel, and that's how you can play in Google Analytics with data. Call tracking is something that you can do with Google Analytics. There's several ways how that works, mostly with a call company that gives you a set of 0800 numbers, depending on how many what's your, say, your top of unique visitors per moment. That's the kind of and every session gets shown a unique 1-800 number. If they call that number, is returned to that user session, then you know, hey, that channel delivered that many sessions, and of those sessions, a lot of people called in, and of those calls, we got X amount of conversions. Of course, that's more CRM phase, the last thing, but you can track those calls. Import offline conversions, measuring cross-channel traffic through Wi-Fi. How does that work? ROPO stands for Research Online, Purchase Offline. You send the Wi-Fi users who want to log in on your Wi-Fi when they're in your store, in your office. You send them to a specific landing page. You put a Google Analytics tag on that landing page where they log in onto your Wi-Fi. And that's how you connect it to. User ID. If your clients or customers use your products on several devices, you want to track those users if they need to log in to use your product. For example, just think about using your Gmail. Hey? You have it on your smartphone, but also at home, and maybe also your tablet. And if it's a family email, you also use it. Your partner, you also use it. So 4 users, for example, but it's one user. And if you don't sync the user IDs, you have 4 different users you're actually measuring who do all kinds of conversions. But if you track the user ID, then you know, hey, that's one user who logs in from several devices, and that's how you get a 360 view of your users. Of course, I mentioned it with above QR codes with UTM code. A long time, QR codes were less used, but here in the Netherlands, since banks use it for payments, it really got a fight also in other marketing channels. So if you want to track which QR code, which stands actually for a channel, QR code in your direct mail or in an ad, you can put other codes with UTM code behind it, so you know which QR code got the most scans. Of course, you can stimulate people to go from your website to your offline store, but also think about visiting, once Corona is over, visiting your booth on an event. Like, hey, you can download this coupon now. If you bring it along at our booth, you make a chance, like on a trip to Hawaii, whatever your price is, of Lear, etc. And the same, you can print out offline coupons or any other code vehicle. You understand what the principle behind it is, and to redeem it in your online store or in your web shop. So these are a few things how you can integrate Google Analytics across between the offline and online media world. For more, you need to know about Google Analytics is UX reporting, error spotting. You can set up Google Analytics custom alerts. Since 1 or 2 years, also Google shows you if you opt in for it. It's not opt in; they do it automatically, and you have to opt out to not show it. But shows you AI warnings like, hey, that page has since 2 days has an increase of 25% or a decrease. But you can also set your own custom alerts. You want to watch 404 errors, and you can set it up, or you have to look for it. But it's one of the most important things you want to keep an eye on. Any sudden changes you want to watch, like mutations in conversion rates, lower, higher, increase, decrease, bounce rates, load time, etc. And you also want to keep an eye on changes after modifications, like a new campaign or a new landing page or a new tool or even a new version of your website. And although probably you've tested it carefully, the new release, it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until he gets punched in the face. Well, the punch in the face is the things you didn't think about or you didn't test. Another feature, Google Analytics, annotations. It's a simple thing, but it can help yourself and your colleagues to make notes within Google Analytics by yourself to more specific dates. Like if you have had a new website today, you put in the 19th of October, new website. Or if you last weekend you were on the BBC with your startup, you got a huge spike in traffic, like really an anomaly. You want to have an annotation with a, hey, we were on BBC One. So, and you want to, in your analysis of your traffic, you want to exclude that traffic in your segment. We're going to talk about segments later, but like take all the traffic, excluding, for example, that one day when you went on BBC One, because it really changes all your stats. That's why you do these kinds of things, to remember. Annotations. More advanced, I will just mention it here so you know it exists. It's quite technical. Native apps, so iOS or Google Play, are working with virtual page views because mostly they are JavaScript, and JavaScript is not HTML, so you don't generate page views. That's why they need virtual page views. It's almost always implemented by SDK. And then you have the measurement protocol. It's like an engine above the Google Analytics APIs. And you can send data from any other source to Google Analytics, any data you want, except personal identifiable information. That's not allowed. I will not go into that deeper, but if you use an email system or email marketing automation tool, for example, they use the measurement protocol to pass data on to Google Analytics. Well, you can do a lot of things with the measurement protocol. The measurement plan. This is your feedback loop with your customer journey map, your customer experience measurement. You identify the business objects upfront. You identify the online KPIs you want to measure to help you getting to those business objectives. Align this KPI to an actual metric within Google Analytics, then set it as a goal. And you decide on reporting requirements, tools, and processes. So I mean, how often I want to go with you to a website. And no, here. It's strange. It was me about this. Well, apologies, but it was a really nice thing here. I'm not sure why I'm not viewing it. Apologies. This is how you actually make it. So you see here your business objectives, your KPIs, so getting paid memberships, selling bottles, customer loyalty and growth, engagement, customer base, here revenue, card abandonments. Here are a number of metrics. Visit duration, well, actually all bottles bought per registered users, segments that you may want to track, regions they use here, traffic sources, of course, new returning, device type. How this works for you depends, of course, on your product and on your business goals. So, I mean, every business has objectives like customer acquisition, nurturing, and selling, and loyalty. But depending on your product, you'll have to define like, hey, if you have a long customer journey, you have other metrics like conversion rate on the first visit or the last visit. Doesn't matter actually. It's more like how often they return and how many touch points do you need to get them signed on or to get them into the trial. Well, you have a quite easy free product, but you're working in an app. Then it's important that they click out if they visit your website to the App Store. That's an important goal for you, to send them to the App Store. And within the app, you want to track other KPIs like well, created an account is a big milestone, so a big goal. Another goal can be first usage of the app after creating. So setting up this measure plan really depends on your product and business objectives. So once you've written this plan, then you can implement it in Google Analytics. We're going to talk about it how in a sec how you're going to implement it. Google Analytics has also a big issue with GDPR. So if you want to have the GDPR sound Google Analytics implementation, then you need to do a few things. First of all, you have to sign a Google Analytics data processing agreement. You have to check for yourself that you don't push accidentally then PII to Google Analytics. So if you have one or the other CRM or marketing automation system, for example, that at any moment puts an email address in the URL, that doesn't work. You have to anonymize IP addresses, and for actually for B2B it's quite important, but because most consumers don't have their own IP address, but it's just a requirement of Google. Also, you have to put reduce the data retention length. That's how long you keep the data. I mean, actually, before GDPR, Google saved it forever, I believe, for 3 years or something. You really have to reduce it, and you have to do it yourself. And it's dependent on your business. Like if you have a customer journey of 3 years, that can be a reason to save it for 3 years. But if you have a short customer journey, well, 14 days, that's it. This has to do with the GDPR requirement of minimize your data. You have to disable demographics and interest reports, and standard Google Analytics has enabled demographics and interest reports, and what the result of it is in your Google Analytics you get data about your users, like age groups, gender, male, female, and something more interesting details. But they get that from their double-click platform, their advertising platform, and of course, advertising is by definition opt-in. So, and people didn't opt in to pass those data to you. That's why you have to disable it. Turn off data sharing. It's somewhere in the configuration of Google Analytics and unlink Google Ads and AdSense. And also that has some minor pains because you some nice features you can't use anymore, but that's a consequence of wanting to be compliant with GDPR. And here is a nice link to an article where you can find the details how to implement it exactly. Filters, really important issue. Filters you put in place for data quality. And I use the word views here, but I will show it later how that works with Google Analytics. But you have 3 levels of setting up your Google Analytics accounts. I believe the second is properties, and the third is views. The first one I forgot now. But in the last level, you have to make sure you always have 3 views active per, for example, per website. But a view can also be your iOS app, and your Play Store app is another view. So just to get an idea, hey, what is a view? If just one website, mywebsite.com, you have at least 3 views active with no filters at all, so all the data clean. Your working view where you're looking at and where you're working in on a daily basis, and a test view that is a copy of working where you test implementations of alterations of Google Analytics, and you look at them for a while to see what happens with your Google Analytics data. You compare it to your working view, so you know, hey, yes, this has the effect that I want to reach, and now I put it to life. So it's a kind of test environment. What kind of filters do companies often use? Of course, to exclude internal traffic, both for your company IP addresses, but also, especially in this Corona time, employees that are working from home, or parties that visit your website on a regular basis other than your clients. For example, exclude specific countries. For me, my website is in Dutch, so exclude all other traffic. Why do you do it? Because also I see my conversion rates get lower, and I see all kinds of things that really doesn't have to do with companies from the Netherlands. You can decide to include certain subdomains or a specific source, traffic source. And you can also create another view, one view with the specific source and one view excluding the specific source, whatever you want. But important is a filter is a layer over all your data. You can't undo it. So it's not, if you want to change it, that all your past data get measured in the old way before the changes you made. Goals. What can be a goal? Anything, actually. Whatever you want. Can be a form completion, a download, open a trial, of course a complete sale, account creation, newsletter signups, click outs to social accounts, click out on article links, whatever you want to measure as a goal. So certainly use what they call micro goals. So click out to your social media channels or your newsletter sign up. That would be micro conversions. Per goal, you can put in a dynamic or a static value. A static value, like every newsletter subscriber has a value of, say, $25 US. But you can also say depending on the traffic source, I want to add another value per conversion. Why do you also need goals in Google Analytics? To put up funnels. And funnels up front created by yourself is nice, but also nice is to find actually the way how they really convert to the goal. What steps did they? So you also have a reversed funnel function that you can look into Google Analytics, like, hey, what prior steps did people take before they completed the goal I've defined here? Newsletter sign up, or a lead form, or a completed transaction, whatever you're measuring. And you get something there that you see on the right, like, hey, all the steps and where the drop-off ratios are. This is why you need goals. Cross-domain tracking, that's important if you have several subdomains and users click through alongside those domains, or they can visit your shop, but they can also visit your blog, etc., or your www website. If you don't implement cross-domain tracking, you see them as several users in your Google Analytics setup. So you want to sync that, and you have to define that in Google Analytics. Segmenting is actually the most important feature for analysis. And why? Because you see difference in behavior based on certain criteria. There are some predefined segments. You see them here in the image on the right. Returning users versus new users, search traffic versus whatever, direct traffic. But another way segment could be, hey, I want the behavior of logged in users versus not logged in users is so different. And if you large part of your traffic is, well, it doesn't matter if it's a large part, even if it's 5% of your traffic is logging in. But for example, if you have a mobile web shop, those 5% of users, logged in users, can be responsible, say, of 50% of all e-commerce transactions, because they are repeat buyers. So you want to really monitor that behavior. So you create a segment for it. But also, if you have had, for example, a special campaign, like on a podcast network, you're advertising your podcast, and you've decided to run the ads all the month of November this year. Well, you want to create a segment, users that had their first visit between 1st of November and the 30th of November, and compare them to all other users, and you exclude it also in another segment. So all the users that had the first session, that's one segment. And the second segment is all the users except those users. And then you compare those two, and hopefully you see more clickouts to your podcast channel or whatever. You get the idea. Segmenting is really something that if you're the person who within your company will do a lot of with online digital marketing will be using a lot. Enhanced e-commerce, special configuration for web shops. And once you have set it up, you get certain funnel stages like product impressions and on your category page or from a search query. People clicked on the product, product detail impressions, add or remove to cart, promotion impressions, promotion clicks for coupons, etc. Go to the checkout, purchases, and also refunds. Then we're going to talk about Google Tag Manager. Any questions so far? Okay. Google Tag Manager used for implementing tracking pixels, JavaScript, or HTML. So yes, you can inject complete HTML settings, web pages, etc. through Google Tag Manager. It's really not an encompassing tool. You can do really a lot with it. So it's not a measurement platform like Google Analytics is for passing through data from one channel to the other. There are three main parts of Google Tag Manager. Tags, these are the codes themselves. Often used, of course, Google Analytics, but another often used tracking pixel is Facebook custom audiences. So the tag is Facebook custom audiences. A trigger, for example, can be your entire website, but can also be that you want to track certain pixel only on one or a few pages or in a subdirectory of pages, etc. And a variable is additional information. For example, you will use the variable Google Analytics number, say your Google Analytics ID, in everything what you want to shoot to Google Analytics. So it's a kind of reusable variable you put in variables. My general advice to you is to do everything through Google Tag Manager, even your Google Analytics implementation, because then you have all your data in one place, and there are advantages to it, like website speed. GTM is most used for implementing Google Analytics events, implementing tracking pixels. So it's not only advertising, but also if you want to implement a website chat, you don't have to go to a developer, but you can do it on yourself. Pop-ups, etc., etc. You can create a faster website, especially if you have a lot of tags running on your web pages. It works perfectly well with non-Google products. It's flexible. Another advantage is all your third-party code, so data you're sending to other parties where you have hopefully a DPA with. You're managing it from one place, Google Tag Manager. It has a really nice preview and debug mode, so you can see what's working, what's not, before you put anything live. Yes. Okay. this was it for today. It's a little bit technical. Just to make sure everybody's here. Yeah. Account level, property level, these are the view level. And for example, here are some filters I'm using. All my IP addresses and IP addresses of contractors. Goals. Well, there's no button new goal here because I used all my 20 goals. But that's about it, what I want to share with you.